Halloween is the season that we call Samhain. It is the beginning of the witches' new year in Celtic tradition, and it is one of the most powerful times of the year because it is a cross quarter and a flux situation, a supernatural time. So there are lots of misunderstandings about this season, a season that's not sinister at all. Our ancestors would have done the last harvest and they would have had balefires to cleanse everything. Everybody would pass through those lovely balefires, and fire was seen as a cleansing agent. Because the vale is thin at this time, they would have hollowed out turnips and pumpkins in order to make sure that they were protected from any kind of negative entities that walked the planet at this time. Because they were honouring their ancestors, inviting their ancestors to the supper and actually telling stories about their ancestors and lighting candles for them. In fact, in the dumb supper, they actually lay a plate out for their ancestor who has passed over before them. This is a time of divination. This is a time where we introspect and meditate. This is a good time for things like mirror spells and candle spells. Casting protection around your home and house and those that you love. It is also a time where we do a thing called shadow work, where we look at our year and how we might have done better or influenced it better, and how we try to iron out some of our shadow traits in order that we make a very good year next year. So this is a time of uncrossing, clearing obstacles. Uncrossing means getting rid of any bad energy or any energy people have sent to you. It's a time of creative visualization where we would have battened down our hatches, where we would have had our harvests and had to survive through those winter months. And obviously it was very important to our ancestors that it was a good harvest. And it was very important to our ancestors to honour theirs. There is nothing freaky about the season. It is a good time to remember those that went before. It has lost its meaning to some people who don't understand pagan ways. It is actually a time where, yes, we try to lift, and there is treats for the children to play games, because obviously we're entering the darker months of the season. So it's really, really important to our ancestors, as they didn't have anything like Tesco's or Morrison's, that they had harvested all of the things that they had grown. They worshipped those seasons and everything those seasons brought, and this time of the year should be a time of rest and reflection. Obviously in our busy societies now that's simply not the case. We have false lighting that our ancestors wouldn't have had, and we make sure that we're on the go all the time. Sometimes I wonder that this advancement that we think we have isn't worse, much worse than what our ancestors had before us. They had community, they had camaraderie, they had times that were hard that made them appreciate the really good times. They honoured the people that went before them. They told stories about their ancestors. They lit candles for the dead. If you wanted to do something this season that was pagan in its origins, you could light a candle for your ancestors. You could put it by their picture, and you at your supper could tell stories about them, the stories that you remember, to keep their memory alive. There are also things that you can use, like ancestor boxes, where you put little items of theirs and that are reminiscent of them into the box. A good candle to burn at this season is a memorial candle by your picture, because they last for a good few days, and so they can be lit and relit. Some of these things we have here at Spellbound, and you could have a look for those if you were interested. There are so many things that you could do that are pagan. We put brooms by the door to guard the door. The brooms are given an intention. They're magical brooms. Those hollowed out pumpkins are set outside in order to stop any gate crashers in the spirit world coming in and joining our dumb supper. We want our ancestors to join us, and we would really love for them to be present and hear the stories that we tell about them, and they would. But in that, we don't want any more negative entities gate crashing the party, so to speak. So that those things were done for very clear reasons. The whole season is about cleansing and replenishing yourself for the new year. So the balefires that were lit, where animals passed through, 2 balefires either side, or in terms of witches, we would have a couple of lit cauldrons, and the whole family would move through the gateway of the fires in order to cleanse themselves ready. So now you know a little bit about our season and some of the things that we do. And I'm sure you could make it a really magical time too. So thanks for listening to me, and go on with your lovely witchy ways.